Thank you for the floor and good morning. I'm Tomáš and I work at the municipal office in Ostrava, Moravia, Silesia region. If you don't know our region, it's a region that is industrial more or less, so there is a bit of unemployment, a reduction in population. So the climate is not the most prominent topic there, as you can imagine, which basically means that not the municipality or the political representation see that as a priority. I will start with a short story, how we basically got to this project, how it's possible that we even have it, just to get you into context, to understand how we have to fight the challenges, because something we are doing well and something not that much. So I didn't want to spend too much time with ChatGPT, but this is the result of a few minutes. And I think it's quite corresponding. It's a small fairy tale. We have some king who is a good, not the bad one, not the good one. They have some counselors, and in their land, when the dwarfs were mining very much, they wanted to take, he wanted to care for this area, and it costs a lot, but he doesn't have that money. So then he goes to the king, to the Czech king, and he appoints one writer to create some application to the king to get some money. So they exchanged a few letters. However, he understood that the king also has his interests. And meanwhile, while they were waiting for the money, the Duke came from some trip, and he discovered that there is some other Duke, and it's a different Duke who has different priorities. The first Duke accepted that, and yes, went away. However, the messenger came back from the letter with the letter from the king, and he discovered that he got the money. However, he wasn't the Duke anymore. There was a new Duke. So what did he have to do? I mean, the writer was in charge of it and had to take care of it at the end. So this is our project. So we have our money. We have 10 years. We are just before the half of the period, and to increase the climate resilience, we have a certain budget. We have 16 million euro of European money. We have some partners, a lot of activities. I will come to that later. If you want to have some precise information, below you can see our website where you can check all the information. I have also this slide. So when this writer came back to this application, he was looking what they promised to the king. He got older in by 100 years and was thinking what it all means. So the topic is quite classic. We have, the main targets are the adaptation to drought, to wind, to emission, because we need to do some decarbonization. It cannot be separated to do only the adaptation and not to care about the emissions. And then another point is the sustainability, because it's not just a PR activity, but sustainability cannot be omitted. Without the sustainable principles, it's not possible. And then I have one more slide. This project has like around 40 activities within 10 years, but it doesn't mean that if we do those, we will achieve the targets. So all these principles that we wanted to stick to, we refer back to the increase increase of the climate resilience of the entire region. So therefore, we need some strategic or program management so that everybody can contribute to the target, and that's also what we are required to do, like the king wanted. So basically, we have to report how we are doing in this fulfilling of this targets. So just to make it more simple, those passwords are for the activities that we are doing. So that's basically the essence of what we are doing for the climate resilience of our region. So the region pays for the staff, maybe for some studies, but if you want to build something except for some pilot or basic measures, it's very complicated because we have to get money from somewhere else. So each of these 6 points or these passwords I will get later, and I will explain how we are doing in those points. So the first point is planning. That's the beginning of the project, and I really hope that this phase is over. It takes a long time, and those are not the results you can boast about. Those are just it's paperwork. And it's especially, however, the strategic management. We have a lot of strategic documents that are here, but if there is nobody managing it, nobody basically fulfilling those principles, it's just the paperwork. So I cannot really guarantee actually that all the documents have the value of the money that was paid for it. So but you always need a person who will put all those documents into practice. The first point is what our also partner cities could get from the project. Some of them took more, some of them less. So things like green passports or retention of rainfall, and I'm really interested in how they are doing. I mean, the support of the management of the cities is also different. So, however, at least they follow these conception documents, they use those recommendations in their documentations, and I hope that at least that is all right. And however, I hope that they also put these concept documents to their activities also out of the project. Okay, sorry, I misclicked. Here, those arrows mean that there will be a special slide for this particular document, so I will move on. This is the general green and the adaptation of buildings in the property of the city or municipality. It is interesting that the support of the general public for climate resilience is quite big. People feel there is an issue. For example, the drought is always an issue, even though our region is not in as much hazard as, let's say, Southern Moravia or Bratislava. But we, for example, had to do these water retention measures and it was very much supported by the people. They see the problems, and they require that somebody addresses it because they themselves cannot or don't want to address it. However, the public administration should do it. However, there is the demand of the public. It changes at the time. There are always more and less popular topics within this, but I think it's an interesting piece of information. So because people see it, and it's not like nobody cares about climate change. People are aware of it. One of the things that we achieved in this concept document is a general of the green. I'm kind of envious about to the municipalities that can do something in one unit. However, in our region we have some property, but it's like spread on various places, so we don't have this effect of completeness. Therefore, we have to affect the others so that we can achieve something, and this is exactly the point of our general green, and this is to assess the greenery that we have in our property. Most of those are schools with some premises that they have. Of course, the principals have different priorities than the greenery in the school. They have like teachers and so on, and the greenery is very much neglected. So this greenery is not in catastrophic, but also not in the perfect condition. So now we have a very precise assessment what to do with these green surfaces, with these green lands, which is very useful, and those strategies were sent to all our stakeholders. And even in autumn we had some training for 10 to 15 principals or headmasters of schools, which is also a success for us because they are voluntarily ready to do something about their school premises, about their green surfaces. And within this project we did some pilot projects. Some are planned for the next year, but those events are happening regardless of the projects. Therefore, we managed to allocate some money for it to be able to put this money into those organizations. Therefore, we published a call in the amount of around 400,000 euro, and if they all require the maximum amount, 20 of them will be able to receive money from this call to improve basically the greenery in our property. We'll see how successful it will be. And it seems right now that we are getting quite a lot of applications. So the funds are restricted, but we still have some, and the municipalities get those. However, there is still a limitation on how they can be used. I think here it may be similar, and I'm really interested in what's going to happen. We will present the results after time. So those are measures like some water retention, some small green surfaces, and so on. So as I mentioned, I would like to make another presentation about how we are doing in this. But it's quite nice to see that this is from this conception document, and it is kind of a tool for us for the public. Then the decarbonization within the facility management, especially regarding the adaptation of buildings. My time is running out. We have approximately 1,200 buildings which were selected for the measures of energy efficiency. Now we are trying to get the money for the project. The region, I think region is currently preparing another projects for 400,000 euro for at least 30 schools. So we are doing pretty well in this. And then another third point, connection. The region can do something by themselves, but we are also dependent on the cooperation with the individual municipalities so that we can have some wider impact. And this is something that really the regions are unable to do, because this is not an agenda for which some certain staff would be allocated, so people are doing it by themselves. However, I'm running out of time, so I'm coming to our examples. First examples are our partnerships. This is a new activity, and it's an attempt to also cooperate with the public, and we already have some achievements, and that's a CTP, so-called, which is a company that built, it's a developer, and they will contribute in Ostrava to 4 projects. Those are some public spaces, some schools, and so on. I think it's a very good thing because it's a good motivation for private sector, and it's for them it's about PR, about being a good neighbor in their area of business. And it's also a good way for them to make it it's a good opportunity for visibility practice or for visibility measures. Another thing, why this project was basically created, it's a good platform where the important stakeholders could meet, could prepare some good cooperation, but this is something we are failing at because we still don't have very firm partnerships. I mean, even the interest of the municipalities is also not that strong, because these mayors still have different priorities. But in our adaptation strategy, we will try to drag the stakeholders even passively, so at least the people who are responsible or in charge for this agenda at those municipalities, people who are interested in this topic, who could be the intermediaries through which we could push this agenda. Okay, we also need to share good practice and things like that. Transformation as another point which I mentioned. So this project has some pilot projects which are rather small, and this should activate further funds and bring further projects and further constructions to be able to get some bigger volume and to contribute to the climate resilience. This is our first pilot. This is this green wall, as you can see, but here however there will be 13 parking places which will be overheated, so we are trying to cool it down with this wall. So it's about the priorities, as I mentioned. What else could I add? Maybe important thing is that it's not just about investments. Many of these retention or many of the measures are about management. It's not very much about money. If you can always select different material, different wood, different color, which can have the same price. So it's always about getting the information to the people to let them know what they can do. So it's about the communication and about having the knowledgeable people, the professionals. But on the other hand, it's very important to say that even the people at these municipalities, these offices, even if they are willing, they just don't understand. Therefore, there is a cooperation with our investment department. They tell us, okay, give us some parameters and I will give it to this procurement. So, but however, these people are unable to assess whether during the project itself they are getting the quality they need. And another thing is that those people are there for a limited period of time, so after a few years they can leave. So it's like never-ending process. We would like, therefore, to have our internal methodology. So it's not enough to only tell them, let's do this green roof. They need to do it. They need to know what should be the content, and it must be somehow adapted to their level of education, to their level of knowledge, so that they can check whether they're getting the quality. Our adaptation strategy document, which is except for the project management, we are also managing the strategic documentation, which is a good thing, and we are making progress. So this here is the crucial. If you as a municipality are interested in doing something in any kind of area, you need to have some compliance. It must be wanted by the politician, by the coordinator, and you need an officer who will execute it in entire thing. It took us 3 years only to get somebody interested, to get this political support, this political willingness, and this is actually a nightmare. I mean, we are doing our best, but at the end of the day, I think we are not going to win this fight, but it's my recommendation from the practice. We inspire within what we are able to do within our small capacities. So we are trying to organize events. We are still in the beginning. We have a portal, which I will speak about. We don't have enough time for these awards. So if you want to follow us, except for the portal, we also have our Facebook page, Miss Klima, which is focused on the public, and at our personal profiles we try to show also what we are doing to the professional public. So this is our portal. Every project has its website with their output. We wanted to have this website as a storage place. We don't need to have the tens of thousands of visitors, but we need to have a place which you can visit, and you can see in the catalog where you can see what measures will be done where. There is some information from the good practices database. You can see where some measures are already working, what are the pros and cons, whether there are some subsidies. We also cooperate with Ministry of Environment. You also have there the database of documentation, so this is the main pillar. These are the good practice examples, what kind of construction it is, the investors, so you can click through it. Then we have these green partnerships. It is the database of projects we have in the municipalities which are available for some investors. Then there are executed projects, and however, the storage place, it's an opportunity to get some information at one place. If you have the conference, you can put there all the documents you need. So you have this storage place, you have this memory where you can store everything. You don't. Nobody. It's not like everybody has to have their own. But whether you are a member of some group or of some group of stakeholders, it's good to have some online interface where you can share your materials, when you can see them, and where you can also show them. So the last point is we are helping. Of course, we are doing counseling and support by our colleagues from the Agency for Regional Development. So if there are some projects within the land or in the cities, we are able to help to certain level. If you, do not require a commercial service such as designing or something like this. So we also provide then subsequent care, and we are also able to help with funding, with partnership. If you need some professionals or somebody to enter or to your project, we have external counselor for it. And yes, through the funding through the counseling, and those words are too complicated for me, so I'm not going into that. But we have already, within the beginnings, did some 23 council links with the municipalities, and I have run out of time. So education, that's also important. We are doing our best. However, on a systematic level, it doesn't work because there is not a certain department that would be in charge of it, and our region doesn't even have an eco-center, so we are still fighting here. These are our sustainable events. This was quite an interesting format. Then we have less formal events. Those are the days of open doors. This is the seminar for smaller village or for smaller municipalities mayors. So we also expanded this one. And we did the seminar about the greenery. Everybody works with green as they can do it at home. So we're trying to provide them with some new knowledge on this. This is the neighborhood planting. This one is a good one, because the public can join. However, after the last election, we are seeing less interest. But if the weather is nice, it's a perfect event. Regarding the education, we have our educational program at YouTube. What else could I say? Just have a look. The summary, my last slide, I don't even have time, but I mean, the point is that people are important here. If you have somebody who is in charge of it, who is interested, try to retain these people. Those people are priceless. I mean, we see how it's changing. If people are fluctuating, it's very hard to substitute them. If you have those people, they are the most precious asset that you have, because things are changing and the new people don't know anything. So if they don't have knowledge, it's very complicated. So then also you need data and strategies. Without data, it's for nothing. Then you need to cooperate, and you need cooperation, and then you need professionals. And another topic, communicate and show results, because municipalities always sometimes are afraid to show their project because they are afraid of haters. But I really believe that this should not be the question. If you have something to show, do it, because it's worthy. If you are interested in more, we are here till evening, so you can approach me. Sorry for being late, but I hope it was interesting for you and useful. Thank you for your attention.